In a pivotal move that could reshape the course of the ongoing conflict, President Joe Biden has authorized Ukraine to use long-range American-made weapons to strike targets inside Russian territory. This landmark decision signals a deepening US commitment to supporting Ukraine in its struggle against continued Russian aggression. For months, Ukraine has sought expanded support from its Western allies, arguing that its ability to target critical Russian infrastructure and supply lines is essential to defending its sovereignty. This new authorization allows Kyiv to push beyond its own borders, taking the fight directly into Russian-held areas and potentially into Russia itself. The weapons in question include sophisticated long-range systems, capable of hitting high-value targets far from the front lines. Officials in Washington have stated that the intent is to enable Ukraine to degrade Russia's military capabilities and disrupt its war machine. Rather than escalate the conflict further, however, Moscow sees it differently. Russian authorities have condemned the decision, calling it a dangerous escalation and a direct provocation. In a strongly worded statement, the Kremlin warned of serious consequences and pledged to respond proportionally. Experts believe this could lead to retaliatory measures, possibly even an expansion of the conflict into areas previously untouched by the war. The move also raises questions about the broader implications for NATO and global security. While NATO members, including the US, insist that they are not directly involved in combat, critics argue that allowing Ukraine to use US-supplied weapons on Russian soil could blur the line between assistance and active participation in the war. Proponents of the decision argue that it is a necessary step to help Ukraine defend itself and bring an end to Russian aggression. By targeting supply chains, logistics hubs, and command centers deep within Russian-held territory, Ukraine could significantly weaken Moscow's ability to sustain its military operations. Ukrainian President Zelensky has welcomed the decision, calling it a game-changer in the fight for his nation's independence. He emphasized that Ukraine will use these capabilities responsibly and strategically, focusing on military objectives to avoid unnecessary civilian harm. The decision has received mixed reactions internationally. Some European allies worrying about potential Russian reprisals and the risk of a broader war spilling into neighboring countries. Meanwhile, public opinion remains divided, with demonstrations both in support of Ukraine and against further escalation of the conflict. As the war enters yet another critical phase, the world watches with apprehension. Will this bold move by the United States bring Ukraine closer to victory, or will it escalate tensions into uncharted territory? The stakes have never been higher for Ukraine, for Russia, and for the future of global security.